All right, well, here we are getting ready to paint something. Something a little bit different about this is you notice that this isn't white. This is kind of a gray with a little bit of brown. I must have primed this panel a long time ago. I don't remember when. But that's going to affect the painting. So that's essentially the underpainting. If I painted this black, it would be completely different. Blue, whatever you want to do. You can start out with a different base color and that will change your painting. Here's the palette. We'll go through the colors real quickly. Black, green, brown. I'm not going to get into the specifics. Red, white, yellow, and blue. And the idea is to paint a loosely based landscape painting, right? An abstraction. And so maybe I'll tighten in on this. And right away we see the green and the white. It makes this really sort of sweet candy color. And I think a lot of people think, oh, light green, I'll just do white and green and that'll give me a light green. But it gives you something that looks more like taffy than something that actually looks like the landscape. So I'm going to knock that down with a little of this brown. And I think that's actually raw umber. Raw umber, burnt umber, I use both of them. And so now I've got this kind of more gray, green color. And maybe I'll add a little of the cadmium red, see what that does. And I'm going to build this painting up with spots of color. And I can't promise that it's going to look good when it's done, but my theory with painting is anybody can paint. It's sort of the art establishment that says only some people are good. That's I don't really believe in that at all. You can look at some paintings and you think, why is that good? You know, but it's somehow has some renowned respect. And sometimes I like the paintings. Sometimes the paintings that the powers that be say are good, I don't really get. So here's a spot of color. And maybe we'll just take another one and put it right here, see what happens. You ever look at the landscape from the sky? It's kind of gridded out into farmlands and things like that. So maybe that's something that could happen here. So now I'm going to pull some of this yellow and I'll grab some of that green that I mixed up. Let's tighten in on this shot here. For what I'm doing, a lot of it has to do with mixing color, just getting comfortable with mixing color. You don't always want to be using color right out of the tube. So look at that color, I kind of like that. We'll go ahead and put another spot up on the canvas. It's actually a panel. And I'll take the brush that I've been using. I just wiped the paint off. But let's go ahead and put a spot here. Maybe one like this too. And maybe just a scribble over here. And that you can see has mixed some of these two colors together. And now we'll go for a darker green. The whole idea of this is to just enjoy mixing color. You know, it's a good way to spend some time if you have some free time. You can put on a podcast. Just relax instead of, look at that color. Wow, I like that. We'll pick that up with the dirty brush that I just was using. Take a look over here. And we'll just and then we'll go back to the palette. Let's grab a little of that black. That's a lot of black. That's pretty severe. And we'll put it in here and see what happens. I think I'm going to grab a big piece of green, wherever I can find it. I got to clean this palette up. I want more green than that. Maybe I'll use a new brush this time. This might suggest a tree line in the distance. And we'll come down here, grab a little, just to kind of do something counterintuitive. We'll take some of this blue. This is it's French ultramarine blue. Let's take that green, mix that in there. That's kind of a nice gray, green, bluish color. Again, I'll go back up to the palette and pull that right off of the knife here. I don't know what that is, but I might like it. I'll just do another spot of color here. Now, this represents a sky. It's just a horizontal, kind of the logic of a horizontal image. It's always going to resemble a landscape. So anything that I put up here could look like sky, unless I kind of mimicked this. But if I put something up here that's gray or bluish, your mind's going to think landscape and sky. So we'll go back down to the palette. I'll take some of the cobalt blue and a big piece of white there. That's a very bright blue. Might be kind of fun to put that in on the sky though and see what happens. So that's what we're going to do. Look at this crummy brush. I definitely need to buy some new brushes. So let's just pick that whole thing up. Come up here. And whoops. So now I could just leave this, and I think I'm going to. That's the whole idea. You can leave it and come back to it, paint on it tomorrow, but for now, I kind of like what's happening. Shit, I'll just go ahead and screw around with it some more. I just picked up, this is a stupid idea. I just picked up some white. Let's throw a cloud in. Probably just screwed this thing up. I kind of did screw it up. But since it's screwed up, man, I need some soft brushes. Since it's screwed up, I should really leave it. Is this brush softer? Well, let's just see what happens. Now I could leave it here, but I could also just pick up some of that blue that I mixed up before and go over the whole thing again. I kind of liked the way it was before, but now it looks kind of similar to that. Yeah, so I'm going to just leave that the way it is. Here's a little frame. This is Douglas fir, and I think that this is left over from the church altar that I built way back in the beginning of my YouTube career. But I'll put this over here. So that Douglas fir came from the floor joists of All Saints Episcopal Church when it was ruined in Hurricane Sandy, and then I built the altar with the floor joists. And that's just a leftover, that's some leftover wood. But there it is, it's a landscape, and I'm pretty happy with that. If you're still hanging around and curious, here's the model that I made when I made the altar for All Saints Episcopal Church. So, built with lap joints, and there would be braces down here to hold this floating shelf, and braces here too, held in with lap joints. And then this sits like that. Of course, sits better when the braces are there. And this is still down at All Saints Episcopal Church, made of Douglas fir from the old floor joists. And I'll put a link to that video in the description below if you want to check it out.